Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Seed World Giant Views video series. My name is Alex Martin, and I'm the editor of Seed World magazine. This afternoon, I'm joined by Aaron Conaway, Total Seed Productions president. Thanks for joining me, Aaron.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited for this.
Now, Aaron, I know this year has been kind of unusual in a lot of aspects. It's an election year. We've been kind of racked with a pandemic. So I like to take the first question right now and ask you, just how have you, your family, and Total Seed Production been holding up during this kind of uncertain time period this year?
We've been holding up really well, actually. A couple different reasons. One, most of the time that's been going on, we've been able to be outside. So being in production and doing everything from start to finish, we're able to get a lot of people outside in tractors, in fields, away from everyone. Not only does that help social distancing, it also helps people's morale and enjoying being outside, enjoying the weather. So the spring, the summer has been very good to us in our business because we're able to do that. We're not stuck in offices or in conference rooms. A lot of our employees are outside dealing with production. So that's probably been a big helpful part of our business. And with that as family as well, we've been able to be outside. So being able to be in seed production, being able to be in ag and farming, we get to be in the rural communities, which then allows us to be away from a large number of people, and then it allows us to have all kinds of different activities that happen outside better than I think some city people. So we've been holding up really well. It hasn't been very disruptive to our operation and not very disruptive in our community, so to speak, compared to others.
Well, Aaron, since you went ahead and brought it up, I'm going to ask a bit of an off-the-cuff question, but how's it been looking production-wise this year? What have you all been seeing? Have you had any issues maybe with some weather or things like that? Or has the year with seed production looked pretty good?
Seed production went really well. You always have some minor blips and some minor challenges that you always have to fight through. And so we're always prepared for those, but just generally speaking, seed production went really, really well. Great weather, great timing, great rainfalls, great temperatures, really, especially during pollination time. We had a fabulous summer with lower temperatures than normal and great rainfalls when we needed it, timely rainfalls. And then harvest really was very favorable. We had great weather during harvest because that can get pretty hairy at times. And so everything really went off without a hitch this year.
Now, Aaron, one thing I've kind of noticed is it seems like even though this year has been kind of weird for everyone, from what I've been reading from news from Total Seed, it seems like you've been able to flourish a bit. I've seen you've had quite a few promotions and additions to your team. So I wanted to ask, what are some ways that you've been working to grow Total Seed Production during this time?
We've been changing a lot over the last 10 years. And so being able to adapt and absorb change and redirect, we've gotten pretty good at it. And so during this pandemic is just another opportunity to change. And so we've been fighting through some daily changes, given quarantines and given the pandemic, obviously, but we've also been able to, as we've grown and as we've changed, we've been able to readjust and sit back and be able to restructure. So one big piece that's exciting is the restructuring that we've been doing with our management team, our supervisor team, and being able to add positions to make our daily operation better, but also make our product and our customer experience better. So that's been really exciting to do that in both ways, be able to promote people within, be able to create new positions, which is always fun and exciting. And then also, once those positions have been created, be able to see the success of those positions and how it's turned out better for everyone.
Awesome. And what are some of those new positions you've been working on creating? I mean, I've seen a couple of them in some press releases I've seen, but what are some examples of the new positions you're working on trying to get under Total Seed Production's belt now?
Yeah, so we've created some new production leads. We've created a different structure in our farming operation. I've created a farm coordinator position, which is really analyzing a tremendous amount of data, being able to analyze our farming operation with a fresh set of eyes and a fresh perspective to be able to maximize yield, better improve quality, chemicals what we're using, really dive into and observe what we're doing, what we have been doing, and what we can do differently. We've also rearranged some of our management positions and trying to get a little bit more focused on our different parts of our business, because we have, in essence, have 4 parts of our business underneath total seed production, with corn production, soybean production, warehouse and distribution, and then we have a farming operation. So we've created a shop manager so we could really get focused at some of our equipment and some of our rolling stock that we continue to expand and get into some other parts that are adding new equipment to that fleet. And so we've really been able to divide and conquer some new positions. We've also created a different production position for our corn. So we've been able to kind of separate our corn production responsibilities and add some different management into that part of our business as well. So it's really able to reduce some stress that some of our managers have been carrying, some heavy loads, but then also be able to really step back and change what we're doing and what really some of those positions are doing. So it's been fun to sit down with the managers, look at what everyone's been doing, look at how they spend their time, what the stressors are, where they feel that like are overloaded, and then be able to create new positions to improve what we're doing, but then also improve our working culture.
We talked about these promotions being cool and fun and interesting to make, but I also feel like that's a good way of rewarding some of your employees, because I know you've been working on promoting from within your office. So I wanted to ask, what do you think is the most important thing when it comes to motivating employees right now? What are you in Total Seed Production trying to do to keep morale up for employees?
Oh, absolutely. So the promotions within have been exciting. In the past, maybe in the distant past, it probably hasn't been as often as we are now, but we've had a lot of great individuals that have come and worked throughout the years into different positions and have been really good leads and have been high performers, and being able to give them and reward them with the opportunity to maybe change into a different position, change into a different part of our business, focus at a different crop than they were, really keeps it exciting and engaging. And so those are really, really been fun to do. It's also been able to help some crossover. And so being able to be able to cross over in between their different parts of our business have been really helpful and exciting for them to encourage and to coach their individual that has taken their position. So it's really, the morale has been really exciting and interesting to see this kind of all happen. And so the other piece that we're really trying to do and have been for quite some time, but it really does take some time to change culture, is really getting more and more people engaged into the decision-making process. So getting more feedback, we've created multiple teams within our teams to be able to focus at some certain tasks and be able to engage them and get their feedback. And it really starts with just a lot of questions as well. You know, we've had a lot of new employees and we'll continue to have a lot of new employees. And so getting them up to speed in an industry, in an organization that really takes like 18 months to see a full cycle is probably a big challenge, but it's a fun challenge to tackle, because until you've been here a full year, you really haven't seen anything, because the production cycle is so long. It's not that you get to repeat this production cycle every 30 days. So we've created a Y box, which has been very helpful with just a lot of odds and end questions that new employees or different employees across departments aren't sure why we do something or why we don't do something. And so they can just drop a note in the box, and we address those every Thursday in our safety meetings about, and there are all kinds of questions, some crazy questions that you wouldn't think that people would even think about, but it's really been a great opportunity to talk and get everybody on the same page about some of the little things that happen day to day. And it really gets them engaged to be able to say, hey, why are we doing this? Why don't we do this? And why don't we do this? And so been adding a lot of different things like that to be able to help our daily environment.
Well, I think another fun part to ask, since we've been talking about how you've been working on creating these new kind of these new jobs and working on promoting some people, I'd love to ask you, what do you look for in an employee when you're looking to do some of this promoting from within? What kind of characteristics and traits do you want to see them exhibiting?
Yeah, that's a really good question. The leadership quality is really important, and that comes in a lot of different ways. Leaderships that whether their experience in a particular process or a crop really helps them. But even we've been able to move people from one area to another, and they're learning about the crop or they're learning the part of their business, but they got really good leadership qualities to where they can learn really quickly, but then also individuals will want to follow them. So even if you don't know the new position that you're going to or going to the part of the business within our organization, I feel like we have a great support team around other supervisors and other managers that we can help and teach the technicals or the specifics about the job. But it's really about being able to, the people skills, being able to lead people, communicate with people, coach people, and help them along with and support them in their daily efforts. So a big people leadership is some of the biggest things that we've been focused on. And we try to focus on teaching and training those individuals and our production techs and our high performers. We've been really trying to engage them in the DISC profiles, and we really use that very strongly in our organization, and we use it I would say daily, but definitely weekly and monthly. And just the interpersonal skills is really important because things change really often, and we have to redirect really often every day in our organization. So being able to handle those redirections and handle all the individuals that have to redirect and motivate and coach our goals and their goals, not only daily or weekly goals, but monthly and yearly goals is the big characteristic we look for.
Awesome. Well, I remember in the past, and this must have been like a year ago, Aaron, we've chatted about some problems that Total Seed faces often. Mother Nature, of course, but we've also gone into this kind of discussion about seasonal workforce. And I feel like that's something that has probably been affected this year. So I wanted to ask, have you seen kind of a lack of a workforce this year, or have you had getting your 8 workers?
Yeah, so I answered that in a couple different parts. So H2A, I was really nervous about going into spring. Wasn't sure how crossing the border was going to work, how the governmental programs was going to work, and so I was really scared about that happening, and it really went off really well. A good portion of it was that we worked with our contractors that already had H2A labor doing other crops already across the border. So we were able to just kind of extend their visas and not have to really send them home, but get them started a little bit earlier. So our H2A labor for detasseling and our harvest went really well. We had no issues, thankfully. They did a great job following COVID protocols. And we had zero instances from that standpoint either. They were all healthy. They all started day one and finished the last day. So everything went really well there. From the seasonal labor that we use and we hire, I would say locally, we hired a significantly more individuals during harvest than we've had in the past. And that went really well as well. The amount of seasonals that we've hired, the caliber of seasonals that we've hired, the individuals, it was fantastic. Like I would have to say that we probably got pretty lucky because of the situation, but I also think there was a lot of individuals that were still looking for some work because they were, for whatever reason, COVID affected them in different ways. And so the work that we had available pre-harvest, during harvest, and post-harvest has really worked in some of their reasonings that they're looking for work. So from just a seasonal labor standpoint, things went really well for us this year.
Hey, and what's something you're looking forward to in 2021? I mean, I know we focused really hard on 2020 here, but 2020 is almost over. So is there anything exciting you that's coming forward in 2021?
Yeah, that 2020 will be over. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Always looking forward to a new year, especially in our operation. We get to turn the page, and a new year means a new crop, new production plans, and so that's always exciting. But more specifically, we have some things on the dockets that we really get to be able to work on, and we're going to continue to work on the positions that we have and the new positions that we have, and we really get to massage some of those things. We have some other big capital improvements that are on the books for this year and next year, and so we're looking forward to getting those started, because that's another thing that's very exciting. So as we continue to grow, we're able to continue to make some capital improvements that make jobs easier and make the organization more fun, and having new equipment and so on and so forth. So I'm looking forward to some of the projects we have online, and really being able to kind of fine tune and massage our daily operations, since we've been seeing a lot of growth the last few years.
And then what are you expecting for 2021? What's planning for the new year look like so far?
So I would say it's really unclear. And we've had some good clarity the last few years, but ASTA and this time of year is always a great benchmark. And so you're going to meet with the same people, you're going to meet with new people during ASTA. And so I think I'll have a better idea after the ASTA week, with ASTA being different, which I'm excited for. Changing it up, going into it with a fresh set of eyes to be able to do something different, I think is fun. But I think that it's going to provide our organization probably a little bit more uncertainty, a little bit longer, because you're not going to be able to connect with all the individuals that you normally do and be able to hit some of those same touch points at that same point in time. So I think some things are going to be delayed a little bit more because of the new year, and because of people just wanting to wait to see how things shake up and which direction they're wanting to go, which is not a bad thing. It's just going to be a little bit more exciting and a little bit more narrow window to be able to plan the way we need to plan. But I'm looking forward to the new ASTA format and being engaged in all the different new ways.
Well, I think that's all the time we had today, Aaron, for our interview. So I just wanted to thank you so much for joining me. And I'm looking forward to being able to talk more with you during the ASTA show in a couple of weeks. So until then, I guess.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time. Thank you for putting this on, and look forward to talking to you soon.